Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as I take you step by step how you can build your own 34-inch wingspan foam board Lazy Bee with free plans available for download from the description. Let's get to it. There are literally thousands of model airplane plans available for free off the internet. There's a wide range of websites where you can view these plans, and it's very easy to print out a copy on your home computer. So what we're going to do in this video is I have decided to make a model of the Speedy Bee aircraft, and I printed out this set of plans, and I just did a Google search for Speedy Bee plans, printed this out. It's available for download in the description, and what we're going to do is use this size plan to build a 34-inch wingspan RC model airplane. So I picked the Lazy Bee. The Lazy Bee is a very popular sport RC aircraft. It was first designed and flown in the mid-1990s. It was published in RC Modeler magazine about 1996. And it's an iconic aircraft. It's got an extremely huge wing. It's been built in all sizes to almost a man carrying size down to a mini one. They even have a glider. But because of its very large wing, lightweight, and slow flight capabilities, it's just a very popular airplane. So what we're going to do is use this as a guide to make a Speedy Bee out of foam. So what I did was I just looked at the equipment that I'm going to use, in particular the motor. It's a Park 250 electric motor from E-flite. I've used this before. It's on my Bronco airplane. Plans are in the description. I have a pretty good idea of the power that it's going to be. I just think about a 34-inch wingspan will be about right. So measuring all these dimensions here, I came up with a multiplication factor of 6. Anything that I measure off of this plan here, if I multiply by 6, that'll be the size of my model. So I have baselines along here. This is available for download if you'd like to use it for just to sketch out the fuselage on the foam board, draw it out onto the foam board, cut it out, then put it together. So that's what we're going to do here. So I've already cut out a few of the pieces. This will be the wing right here, the center section. These are the two wing tips that will go along here. They'll be elevated about 3 inches, and so it will look like this. You can see it's going to be a quite big wing. It does have an airfoil shape. What I've done for the airfoil shape is I just sketched out this version of an airfoil. It's a pretty deep cambered airfoil, but I think it'll work out okay. And then with this sample here, this is a foam board with a paper on top. I've cut out channels on the bottom so that I can bend it like this. So then I will just glue it onto the top of the ribs to have the wing shape like so. So that'll be the wing that I will do that. And that should produce a quite lightweight wing. I will reinforce it with 3mm carbon rod in the center section, as well as a smaller 2mm rod for the tail surfaces in back for the stabilizer. This is the fuselage bottom where it curves up. Using the sketch from the plans on here, I've come up with this outline for the fuselage side with the stab here. It's very easy with the incidences. The wings are flat on the top of the fuselage and the stab is aligned with the wing. Tomorrow I'll glue these on. This will be the bottom. It goes up like that. We'll glue everything together, build some formers out of foam, use a little bit of plywood for the firewall, and I think it'll go together pretty quick. So that's where we are right now. Again, the idea is you can just print the plans out from the internet, find a multiplication factor, in this case 6, just everything is 6 times the size on this, sketch it out on the foam board and cut it out. These are the plans that I picked off the internet. They're available for download in the description, although you can pick other plans if you want. Notice the multiplication factor of 6. I just measure any dimension on this plan and come up with row 1. So the wing chord is 2 inches times 6 is 12 inches for the chord. I just pull off as many measurements as I think I need to build the model. And if you're not sure, just measure the plan, multiply by 6, sketch it out on the foam board. This is 3/16 inch foam board, 20 inches by 30 inches. Got mine at Amazon. These are the ribs that I cut out. I cut out 7-1, just have an extra one. Tail surfaces with a separate fin and rudder. I think that'll make it a little bit easier to fly. And the reinforcement on the stab with a popsicle stick. Here's the fuselage sides with the little channels cut where they bend around the bottom of the fuselage. The fuselage bottom is a great way to align the two sides as you build the fuselage. Here's the look at the wing, the center section, the two tips that are flat. We're going to have to score the underside and add the ribs, which we'll do in the next step. And this is what the rib looks like, about a 12-inch rib, nice big wing. So we scored the underside, we put in the 3mm carbon rod that is glued in place. There's the rib, and it just bends around there with hot glue. Notice the bend on the bottom to follow the top of the fuselage. The center section is complete with a carbon rod in place. The two center ribs glued in. See how they bend in a little bit for the fuselage, and that's what it looks like on the side view. We have to do the same for both wing tips. And when you, once you're done with the wing tips, that's what it looks like on the side. You're just going to have to kind of cut and adjust, because the wings are raised by 3 inches. It's not a perfect fit with the end of the wing. Just trim and sand is necessary, and it goes together pretty well. Fuselage sides are starting to be glued to the bottom. As I mentioned, the bottom is a great alignment tool for the fuselage. It really helps keep everything straight. This is where we are with this Lazy Bee. So the fuselage is coming along well. The two sides, I've cut out 2 formers inside with openings for the control rods. The motor's in place on a plywood firewall. And then I'll make a curved covering for the nose to have it with a curved nose. Open for the hatch on the bottom, and I cut this out just to save a little bit of weight on the tail. After I put in the control linkages, I'll cover this up so the top will be in. All the control surfaces are cut out. This is a stabilizer. This is the rudder. I'll do a popsicle stick across here to reinforce that. And I'll use this 1mm carbon fiber rod that'll go into the stabilizer to make sure that is all in one piece. The original Lazy Bee had an all-moving tail like this, but I'm going to have just a fin and a rudder going back and forth. I think that just a little bit stronger to put in, so that is all done. But the other thing I wanted to point out is the wing. So this is the wing, about 34-inch wingspan. As you can see on the videos leading up to here, it was made in 3 parts. We have the center section here with the 3mm carbon rod, the ribs lined up to be right over the fuselage sides. And then for the tips, with a 3-inch dihedral, these are separate pieces. The tape is here because I plan on painting this with poster board paint, and the paint goes very well over the tape, so that'll look a little bit better. You just have to sand and cut a little bit of a curve on that when you lift up the wing. It can't be a flat butt joint like you would think. But the scoring is on the inside. Got a little bit of a curve for the airfoil, so I'm pretty happy with the wing. It's a strong wing. It's flat. I'm not even sure you need the carbon fiber rod in here. I think it'd be strong enough without it, but we have it in there anyhow with these ribs along here. So the wing is done. And of course the wing will go on like this. We'll use rubber bands to hold it on in place. And you can see it starting to get the characteristic Lazy Bee. The wheels will be down here, the curved front. So I think we're making pretty good progress, and hopefully we can finish it up tomorrow. So the fuselage is coming together. We have the motor installed, all the electrical components, plywood firewall, a little bit of foam. There's some popsicle sticks and epoxy in back. I think that'll hold everything in okay. The total model weight came out at 1 pound. It's a very light model. The receiver, the 2 servos, I put tape around the servos to glue them so we don't gunk up the servos. And the stabilizer and fin, here's the 1mm carbon rod in the base of the stab. And this is the hatch to put the battery in. So the tail's coming along. I just used masking tape for the hinges. The servos glued to the side. Make sure you bevel the hinges, and the control rods, the control horns are put in place. You can just see the popsicle stick on the bottom of the joiner, the 2 stab sides. The rudder is put in place. You'll just have to trim the cutout to make sure the rudder can go, the elevator can go up and down properly. This is the initial check with the servos. Nice long control arms to get full throw on the control surfaces, and actually dial that down a little bit.
Rudy, thank you for stopping by to look at the Lazy Bee.
So we're going to let Rudy get back down on the ground.
Hi, Rudy. Hi.
Well, we've completed construction of the Lazy Bee. I'm very happy with the way it came out. Here's a fuselage. You can see from the Lazy Bees that you've seen around that the nose I extended 1.5 inches. It does look a little bit longer, but it worked out good because it balances perfectly with the battery in place. So that was an easy way to save a little bit of weight on the model. There's plenty of room inside. I've got the servos. I just hot glued them to the side. I put tape on the servos, masking tape to keep the wires out. Just control rods, guides to keep them from flexing. Rudder elevator, it's a 3-channel model. And I put just the landing gear on with popsicle sticks. I used hot glue to glue that. And then dowels for the to hold down the wing. This is the finished wing. Again, it came out very well. It's a rigid wing with a between the ribs and the foam itself. I'm not sure I even need the carbon rod in there, so it's in there. But this is the wing right here. I put popsicle sticks to keep the rubber bands from digging in. A little mark for the center of gravity, 25% of the way back to the leading edge, and then just the little notches so I have the center of the wing. So everything goes on, and this is what it looks like pretty much. And so what we'll do now is I'll show you the control throws and the motor, and then we'll paint it, then head out to the field for a test flight. So we have it powered up. I think it has enough power with a 2-cell. I'm going to use a 3-cell for the initial flights, but plenty of elevator, rudder. I have a tail skid in back just to save the work of putting in a tail wheel. But I think that'll be good for the initial flights, and then the power. That'll be plenty of power for what we're going to do. It's one thing you got to keep in mind, there's not a lot of prop clearance when you rotate here, but I think it'll take off pretty quick. Just be careful of a prop strike. So, happy with the way it came out. It was a pretty easy build. It's a bee, nice big wing, and we'll paint it and see how it flies. One nice thing about the Lazy Bee, there's any number of paint schemes. Just do a Google search for Lazy Bee RC plane. I printed out this paint scheme. These are normal acrylic poster paints purchased at any craft store. And here's the white with notice the white paper's left on. I just sketched out a rough outline of what I wanted the 2-color scheme to look like. Use as much precision as you'd like on this. I'm just going to freestyle the lines. Start off with the yellow paint, and there it is on the fuselage and on the wing. Added some of the red paint, and just you can fill it as you go along. I think it comes out pretty good for this combination. Finally, using some trim monocoat, the windows for the fuselage. I'm done with the Lazy Bee. I painted it today. This is what it looks like. And for the foam board, I kept the paper on, the white paper on the outside. I just used absolutely normal acrylic paints you get from a craft store. They cover very well. Just it's basically one coat for the whole thing. The total weight of this airplane with the battery installed is 1 pound. So I'm very happy about that. So the plane is complete. Everything checks out, and what we'll do is just wait for a good weather day, then take it out for a test flight. We're out here at the field for the test flight of the Lazy Bee. Looks like a beautiful day for flying. So everything looks okay. The wing's in place. To give you a moment, I'll hook up the battery. We'll do a control check, then we'll take it for a flight. Okay, so we have the batteries hooked up. Here's up elevator, rudder. We'll give a quick test of the throttle. Okay, I think we're all set to go fly. So very happy with the flights of the Lazy Bee. You can see it's got plenty of power, it handles well. I deliberately stalled it a few times. With this large wing, the prop, you add power, it just flies right out of the stall. Very forgiving. It's kind of interesting, you see it's always seeking a wing's level with the wingtip dihedral here, which is fine. It's just a very stable airplane, and looks like a lot of fun to fly, and I look forward to learning how to fly it and just having more adventures with the Lazy Bee rather. And good luck with yours if you build one.